what do you've learned about the rivalry at this point? What do you think about it?
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, it's two teams that compete, two teams that love football, and we're just preparing like any other game and going in there, to play our game.
Is it really like every other game, or do you find that some guys, obviously do kind of care about a little more about this one?
Yeah, obviously there's going to be emotions with the game just because of it being the rivalry and in-state, and there are guys that probably will have more emotion than others, and so for us it's just keeping a level-headed minded and staying consistent and poised throughout the whole game.
When you reviewed Saturday, what kind of stuck out in hindsight about the performance?
Yeah, there's just a couple areas where we thought that we could have continued drives, and we're going to need to do that this week. And just with the limited amount of drives that we might have again, we got to stay consistent and stay poised within each other, and continue to have long drives, not just 3 and outs.
You're going against one of the top defenses in the game.
Yeah.
Obviously, you've done it before. What's your impression of what they're able to do on defense?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Ferns and their DC, they do a good job of just staying disciplined with what their details are on the defense, and they've been doing it for how many years? I don't even know how many years now, but they've been one of the best defenses in the country, and all props to them. They make it hard for us, and so we're gonna have to come up with a good game plan and go in there and continue to just do our jobs.
What do you remember about what it was like to play against that unit last year?
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of mistakes on defense on their end. It was kind of just finding the the little holes to get the ball in, and just with the offensive line, just trying to continue to get vertical on that defensive line and get to the linebackers, because that's the only way we can run the ball. And so there's tight windows everywhere, and so I'm going to need to be sharp on Saturday.
How do you handle?
Looking back at the tape, obviously you guys started pretty well with the touchdown on the second play of the season. What was it like to kind of get in the end zone that quickly?
It was exhilarating. It was great. The fans were going crazy, and then that's just what we wanted to do. Come out quick, put points on the board, and just show that we can be explosive on offense.
When you look at Iowa's defense, what do they do well that makes it a challenge for you to do what you want to do?
Yeah, I think their defense is very organized. They know what they're doing. They do it at a very high level. They have great players all over the field. The biggest thing for us is just to be consistent on what we do, make sure we're meticulous on the small details.
In what areas can you attack? Where do you feel like they may be most vulnerable?
I wouldn't say any specific area that they're vulnerable. Just, we just got to have a good game plan and just do what we do, honestly.
You had an opportunity to play against them last year. They played pretty unique coverage. How important is your experience against their defensive schemes as you enter your second year against them?
Yeah, I think it's really important. They have a great defensive coordinator, so he's gonna change up things. Do the same things from last year. So you really never know, honestly. But seeing familiarity with those guys, it'd be good going into the game.
What about the crowd noise? What kind of issues does that present if you guys try to create?
Yeah, I've never been there before, so I don't know how loud it gets, but I heard it gets really loud, so we're practicing things like that, and we got certain cadences and things like that for that. So.
What are you doing to compensate at practice? I mean, is it loud music? Or
Yeah.
Crowd noise? Or?
Yeah, we have a radio and it plays crowd noise, so it's really loud, so it keeps us focused on the field. Yeah.
How confident are you with like hand signals and that sort of thing?
I feel like we're very confident. We've been doing it since last year, so yeah.
Direction, the place we need it in the open field. It's nice to have that switch up, especially knowing you kind of have those punters that can specialize. So it's really nice, and it helps our special teams a lot.
And you're also more involved in the defense now. What has kind of been some of maybe a little difference in preparation, if there is any, but what is kind of some of the differences this year versus your role last year?
I mean, I've always prepared to be ready to play because it's in football. Anything can kind of happen injury-wise or whatever may happen. But now just being able to handle playing, 30, 40, 50 snaps on defense along with whatever I may do on special teams, it's been the biggest. So it's more of a physical preparation as opposed to a mental one.
You're in your 6th year, so you've been to Kinnick many times, and you know exactly what that environment's all about. What are the keys to handling it well?
Obviously not feeding into the moment too much. Like everyone recognizes it's a big game, but it's also the next game. And if we want to accomplish things we haven't done here before, we have to win them all. So, not get too invested in it, but also realizing that you're going into a opponent and a place that they don't like you and they don't want you to win. So being able to handle the noise and focus on what we're doing and focus on like what we have to do to win the game is the most important.
Where do you guys feel like you need to improve most from week 1 to week 2?
Being able to stop the run for sure on defense, and just as a team, kind of playing complementary football. There are times in the game against North Dakota where, the offense goes down and scores, defense gets off the field, the offense punts, and then, the 22 play drive that North Dakota ends up going on. There's no flow for us in the game. So being able to play complementary football on all 3 phases is important.
On that drive in particular, a tackle here, a tackle there, and the drive's over. Do you feel like tackling is something that typically improves the most from week 1 to week 2?
Absolutely. It's the first like live action against a different team, so it's going to be a little rusty, but we're taking steps forward in that department, and I feel like our tackling will be much better come week 2, come this weekend. So looking forward to it.
I think it's really huge. Just playing at Iowa, like I said, it's a fun environment to play in. So just finishing with a win there would be huge, and then I think it would catapult us into. We got Arkansas State, but then into Big 12 play, that would be a huge win because, you got some hostile environments in the Big 12. So Iowa's a really good test to see how we do in hostile environments. So
you mentioned this being able to kind of vault you guys forward if
Yeah.
you're able to get a win on Saturday. With the CFP expanding to 12 teams, does this win or an opportunity at getting a win, kind of increase the awareness of what it could do for you guys?
I don't think it increases the awareness because I think that's just our goal all off season. Focusing on ourselves, and we'll be right where we want to be. First, you got to get to the Big 12 championship before we even think about the college football playoffs. So just winning each game, each week, circling each team, and after that week is done, then going back to the drawing board. So
Along those lines, you're representing the Big 12. They're representing the Big 10.
Right.
We know that come first week of December, there's going to be all kinds of arguments, and games like this do matter.
Right.
Depending on where you end up, where they end up, and then the leagues themselves. Is that something that has entered your mind at all, or is it just so narrow focus that?
No, I don't really look at the big picture of things because I feel like if you look at the big picture of things, that's when you miss on a detail that you really needed to hone into that week. So I just focus on the team that's at hand, the schematics that they do, how their O-line plays, what their QB does best, and you really just go from there. And then, after that week is over, you take a deep breath, and then you go back into the next week. That's how you do most. Yeah, they run the ball really well. Their defense plays really well to put their offense on the plus side of the field so they can play on the plus side. They have great kickers. They play hard special teams. Just trying to get them to 3rd and long, and hopefully when we get them to 3rd and long, we can rush the passer. But they do have a great O-line, so we got to come prepared.
The success that North Dakota had on the ground, how much has that been affected, like your focus in practice since you guys got back?
Yeah, it's just honestly just comes down to detail, being in your gap and responsibility. That's all it was. It wasn't anything crazy that happened out there. If we just do that and we play physical, we play fast, we'll be right where we want to be.
How much did fundamentals play a role? Maybe not necessarily for you, but just for everybody collectively.
Yeah, fundamentals is always huge. It doesn't matter if you're a true freshman or you're a 5th-year senior. Today, we went back to the drawing board. We went back under the chutes and, just staying low, driving our feet, and shooting our hands. Basic fundamentals that you learn in day one. So it definitely is huge to have fundamentals.